Oh.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
We want to pin the trigger,
Yep.
okay?
Yep.
Good. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to AmmoMart. As promised, we're going to get Kayla introduced to the world of short-barreled rifles. It's important before we go a whole lot farther that we understand that those are ATF controlled items, of course. You have to have a stamp to have those, cost you $200 and do some paperwork and all of those sorts of things.
Mm-hmm.
If you're interested in it, the best thing to do is get on the ATF website.
Okay.
If you're a smart girl, you can read it for yourself. I'm not a lawyer. I know the powers that be at AmmoMart are not real big on me offering sort of legal advice on how all of this works, so you'll be able to figure it out. Lots of people do, but there is some sort of responsibilities that come with having one of those.
Of course.
Okay? So one of the things that make this a short-barreled rifle is the barrel is less than 10 inches, and overall it's less than 26 inches, but we'll talk about some more of that later on, okay? Now, advantage of the short-barreled rifle is you have more of a rifle or offensive sort of mindset, perhaps, even though it's still firing a pistol caliber. If I were going to get one of these in pistol caliber, it would be the MP5 clone or something else that had more of a binary trigger, which we'll talk about later on. They just start to shine when they're absolutely putting rounds downrange in the way that the weapon was designed to.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have that, you pretty much have a semi-automatic 9mm.
Right.
Okay, and you'll see when you shoot them, it's kind of, it's fantastic once you figure it out, but it does take a little bit to figure out. Back to the capabilities of short-barreled rifle compared to these, but for, you can get a binary trigger with all of these, so that would be a tie.
Okay.
You can. This is like an AR platform. I don't know about the Smith. It hasn't been out long enough probably for that, and it may never have it.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be something to consider if you want to pick up another one of these. But just to compare apples to apples, what you're getting is not a lot different. You just have a stamp tax to go with.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep.
Now, obviously, this is a little more cut down than some, but not tremendous.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Right.
So the main difference is, I guess, for the consumer is that you understand the responsibilities that come with one and find the one that you like, and it might be an SBR. This is very popular. Lots of people are doing this now.
Mm-hmm.
I would tell you, Kayla, in the last 10 years, the amount of people that have actually gotten stamps, say for suppressors, say for short-barreled rifles, is really just exploded. It's no longer the hurdle, and it was a mental hurdle all along, actually. I think people had this misconception that all of a sudden you were on a government watch list if you did that.
Mm-hmm.
It's really not. As long as, like anything else, if you have the right information, you'll be fine with it.
Okay.
So short-barreled rifles, if that's what you like, is really the way to go.
Great.
Okay? We'll see if that's true and see what you think of that compared to the sort of more conventional pistol caliber carbines we shot the other day.
I'm excited to try them out.
Okay, cool. Off we go. So this one's really cool. It's an MP5 clone. The original MP5s were made by H&K. This one, of course, is from Century, made in Turkey. And in the 80s and throughout the 90s, and I think a lot of police departments still would be doing this, this guy was made for close quarter battle, room clearing. Hostage rescue, high-speed rescue teams, the SEALs, whatever, use this a ton.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can tell from the size of it, it would be ideal in cramped quarters. But this guy could potentially have a problem we'll talk about in a little bit, okay?
Got it.
This is sort of just a different version of it, your Kriss Vector. You'll notice this stock folds. It's got a cool hollow sun dot on it and an extremely short barrel at less than 6 inches. So if you get out our handy dandy tape measure and we go like this, you'll notice she not be 26 inches long, and the barrel is way shorter, which would end about right here. It's way shorter than 10.
Okay.
So even though looks similar, SBR, rifle handgun. Now, why do we care about this distinction is because you have to have an ATF stamp to own these. You have to go through the process, pay the $200 to get the stamp or the tax to own these.
Okay.
These are a controlled item. Okay?
Interesting, yeah.
So knowing the definition could potentially keep you out of trouble if you were going to go into a private sale. If you know somebody, he shouldn't do that because it's also going to get him in a ton of trouble. Mm-hmm. But you have to kind of pay attention to sort of the ins and outs of what makes things a short barrel rifle versus a handgun.
Got it.
Okay, now having said all that, these are expensive. You can just tell from looking. This is not something that most people would be interested in owning, even if they didn't have to get the tax.
Almost looks futuristic.
Yeah, it does, right? Even though this has been around a while.
Right.
They're really cool to shoot. But believe it or not, the number one complaint that I heard the whole time I was in sales about some of these, not necessarily this one, but some of these, back to identity, you get the full effect of this weapon's design when it's in full auto. In semi-automatic, guess what? It's a high speed or perhaps cooler looking version of those three, but it doesn't do any other particular tricks.
Okay.
It's a 9mm carbine at that point.
Right.
Now, this one happens to have a binary trigger. Have you ever fired one of those before?
I have not, no.
Okay, so real quick, it's really simple to understand. Takes a little bit to catch on to work in the gun. So when you press the trigger, it fires.
Right.
When you release the trigger, it fires.
That's going to be interesting.
Back to ATF definition, which is one action shoots one bullet. Letting it off is its own individual action.
Okay.
That's why it's not considered a automatic weapon. Because every time you do something, it does something, but it's not press da-da-da-da-da-da.
Right.
Okay? But you'll see with a little practice, you can get this running pretty hard and get some major rounds downrange. Works good.
Okay.
Works better, in my humble opinion, than the Vector. I know I'm probably irritating a lot of people at home. I'm just telling you that I've seen people spend $1,500 on this thing and go, why did I do this?
Right.
I'm not used to the design. It's kind of wonky to figure out. And it doesn't do anything that any of the rest of these will do. The trigger in it is not special. It's not fast. It just goes boom, 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 just like your folding carbine. Now, let's move on to what some would consider the star of the show, which would be the SBR. Okay? MP5 clone. Now, here's your safety. Okay, roll it over so we can see. Right now she's on safe.
Yep.
Fire, and down all the way is that binary. So we want to stay up here for certain.
Yep.
Okay? And I'm going to move behind you and to that side to make sure we're not on binary when we get started, okay?
Okay.
Now you're going to find, that'll be okay right there.
This will be fine?
Yeah, I prefer that so you're not out to the end of the muzzle.
Right.
You're going to find these magazines are also a little difficult to put in, but go ahead.
Okay.
Good. Yep. Good. Now, your charging handle for this guy is right here. So reach up, pull back, and let go. Safety's on. Good. Now, go ahead and find your sights. You there? Good position.
Yep.
Take her off as safe. One stop down. Excellent. And go ahead and shoot a little bit. Good. 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 Okay?
Okay.
Now, you did well with it. The far target miss was because the zero's set up for close range.
Got it.
That's no big deal.
Okay.
That's not you. It was fine. It's just not zeroed for that distance.
Okay.
No big deal. But you'll notice, let me borrow this back real quick.
Of course.
You'll notice that it didn't do anything the rest of them didn't do.
Right. I actually was very comfortable with that.
It's nice, right?
Yeah.
But you'll find, and I'm going to throw some ammo in this magazine and we're going to work the binary portion of the trigger.
Okay.
That it starts to come alive when it is more in the mode of what it was originally designed for.
Makes sense. I'm excited.
Which is lots of rounds downrange quick.
Okay.
Okay? Now, I'm going to give this back to you. Safety's on. We're going to do the very same thing. Here's your magazine. See? small, right?
Right.
You have to practice a lot to get smooth with it.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Now you go ahead. I'm going to work your safety this time, okay? Because I want to make sure it's on binary.
Okay.
Finger off trigger.
Yep.
Okay. Now, Kayla, once again, quick reminder. It's going to fire when you press, and it's going to fire when you let it out.
Okay.
So I want you to go slow on the let out. I want you to pin the trigger and then let off so you kind of get used to how it's going to work, and then we'll go faster and faster.
Got it.
Okay?
Okay. I need to.
Yep. Good. Good catch.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
We want to pin the trigger,
Yep.
okay?
Yep.
Good. 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 So now
Okay.
we're empty, right? We're used to that a little bit.
Yep.
Put it on safe.
Okay.
Good. Let me borrow.
Barely felt like I took my finger off the trigger when it went boom, boom. That was a surprise.
So you can see, once again, if you
Right.
get stuff, you have to give stuff away.
Yes.
So one of the things that you are going to give up is the potential safety margin, if there is one, while you're operating the gun. I'm going to borrow this real quick, okay?
Okay.
And what I'm saying by that is that, yes, I can make this go fast, but what I lose is a little bit of safety.
Okay.
So you'll see, you ready?
Ready.
You'll see. Okay? That's when she comes alive.
Yep.
No question, right? Problem is, if you purchase one of these without a binary trigger, then it's just a semi-automatic 9mm.
Got it.
Okay? So be wary of that.
Okay.
Now, we're going to move on to the Kriss Vector. With the Vector, when you can see red, just like with the Beretta, red is dead, so now you know you're on safe. Okay?
Okay.
Believe it or not, your charging handle for this guy is here. Works similar to the MP5. This is your magazine release.
Okay.
Some people, when they're learning to run the Vector, inadvertently hit that all the time because you wrong-handed people have your left hand up here.
Right.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
For me, not an issue.
Okay.
But for you, obviously the reverse would be. Make sense?
Makes sense.
Okay, so the weapon's on safe. You hold on to that.
Okay.
Here's your magazine. Okay, goes in right there. Good. Excellent. Okay, find your sights, and you will have to charge it.
Okay.
Go ahead and charge it. Good. Nice. Okay. Now when you're ready, take it off safe, and we'll do the very same drill. Good. Slow to start, and then we'll pick up the pace. Good. Seems accurate.
I think I'm out.
Okay. What do you think of it?
I like it. It's front heavy.
Which is going to help with recoil,
Right. Yep.
but it's also heavy,
And it feels completely different than anything else that I've shot today.
and it's going to. So the message with the Vector is it's radically looking, and it takes a lot more practice to get used to it. It kind of reminds me a bit of bullpups.
Okay.
People that eventually catch on to bullpups love them, where the magazine's in the rear.
Mm-hmm.
But it takes forever. And Americans are horrible at that because they're so used to the AR, right? They're so used to that platform. They've been in the military, maybe they haven't. They've been around them their whole life. And you give them a bullpup, and it's like trying to teach me to crochet. It's just, it's a mess, right?
Okay.
This is kind of how you feel, right?
Right.
This can be done, but for my humble opinion, it's way too expensive. And once again, the Vector in automatic form is an absolute rock star. In this form,
No?
nope, not for me. So, Kayla, not much difference between short-barreled rifles and carbines. If you had to say, what's your most positive sort of asset that the short-barreled rifle gives? Which one did you like?
I don't know. I feel like I actually would lean towards this one.
Mm-hmm.
That one was a little bit front heavy and a little bit more
Yeah.
kickback, I would say.
Yeah. So in general, short-barreled rifles are going to take some getting used to,
Yes, yeah.
but not to sort of bias your opinion at all, I'm a much bigger fan of this one than this one.
Okay.
But the Vector is a fine weapon. It's a very quality, well-made gun. It's just not my thing.
Got it.
Okay? But you can see certainly there are some advantages to short-barreled rifles.
Definitely.
Okay? Well, I appreciate you trying them out. You may not decide to go down that road, but it's good, useful information to have, right?
Well, thank you for introducing me to all these new firearms.
You're quite welcome. Just keep shooting the one that you have and do some homework and decide where else you want to go, if at all.
Sounds great.
Okay? Thanks for watching. Don't be afraid to like and subscribe.